Okay, everybody, thank you so much for coming back to the VIP Financial Ed YouTube channel. Today I've got a really kind of interesting topic I wanted to bring up. This has been heavy on my mind, and I needed to have a bit of a conversation with you guys about what it's actually like being an entrepreneur. I know a lot of you have considered it. You maybe grew up your entire lives like me, just with this feeling that you were meant for something more, that you were meant to work for yourself and live life on your own terms. And what I've discovered over the last 20 years of being an entrepreneur now is it's incredibly unsatisfying. And I think that's a really, really important aspect to being successful as an entrepreneur. And I want to talk more about that today. So make sure you don't go anywhere. All right, guys. So I always have this deep, unsettling feeling of discontent as an entrepreneur. And I've been feeling it a lot again recently because we've been wrapping up these two really big projects where we rehabbed a house and we purchased our first Airbnb and have been decorating it and have really gone over the top, not just getting it guest ready, but enjoying it ourselves along the way. And it's required a great deal of attention and time. And here we are at the tail end with everything fairly autonomous, and it's generating revenues and it makes good money. But I feel like there's almost this hole in my day. It's a gap of purpose. And I think it's incredibly important to have purpose. In fact, when you look at our income streams and the way that I've built businesses, I have enough money now to where I would never have to work again if I chose not to. I feel retired, even though I work more hours now than I've ever remembered working before. And we've put in some extreme hours in the past. So I look at this and say, well, why is that? Well, it's because I'm doing what I love. And as these projects come to an end, it sort of leaves us feeling like we want more. And I remind myself and others often that having discontent as an entrepreneur is an incredibly important part of being successful. Look at any top performing athlete as an example. A LeBron James, for instance, could have the game of his life and put up more points than ever before, have a better defensive game at the same time, and it could be all high fives and ass smacks, quite honestly, and they're gonna celebrate throughout the game. And they should, as we do too. Yet in the locker room, I assure you that an athlete like LeBron is going through and picking apart the tape to determine where improvements could have been made. How could we have done a better job? What we should have and would have and could have. And that's what makes him an excellent athlete. And it's no different than, say, a mountain climber. In fact, I watched this fascinating documentary. If you guys like documentaries, make sure you check it out. It's called The Dawn Wall, and it's all about El Capitan in Yosemite and this gentleman named Tommy Caldwell, who happens to be a great friend of my family. My mom is really good friends with his mom. They live up in Estes Park, Colorado. And this guy is sort of the Michael Jordan of rock climbing, rope rock climbing, of course. But he has set tremendous records and has been recognized by some of the biggest names out there, including a visit to Ellen. Barack Obama gave him a shout out. I mean, it's a very, very inspiring story. And you kind of look at what pushes somebody like that, right? Because you can hit certain accomplishments along the way. You could climb and say summit one of the many 14ers here in Colorado and still be hungry for more. There are many people here that try to climb all of them. My dad was an Eagle Scout, so obviously pushed himself very, very far from an endurance standpoint as well. And so I saw a lot of that growing up. But you know, there are others then, when I went out and climbed Long's Peak myself, the only 14er I climbed, I was shocked at how difficult it was. It wasn't inspiring to me to get out there and keep doing more. And other people in my group were experiencing a lot of altitude sickness along the way. And I think that's really parallel to what we see here in entrepreneurship too, is that you're going to be tested and you're going to have to pull yourself out of your comfort zone. But over time and with enough repetition, the experience becomes more familiar to you and of course, therefore more comfortable. If I went out and purchased my second short-term rental property and started to either Airbnb it or VRBO it, it wouldn't be nearly as complex. I would have a really clear understanding of what items I purchased that I shouldn't have, have and wouldn't again, and which items were really most popular and the necessities. I would save a lot of money. I would downgrade quality on certain things. The lessons that I learned the hard way on the first experience, even with mentorship and coaching, would be minimized in the second and even further minimized in the third. So as people become acclimated to certain altitudes, it no longer takes the same negative toll against them. The impact is different. And this is why teams like the Denver Broncos are capable of playing, more comfortably in the Mile High City, even with that reduction of oxygen. So I like to see that similarly to business and how you can expect things to go for yourself as somebody that's really getting out there and starting down a path that feels really awkward and uncomfortable and scary at first. Over time, it will become much less. And frankly, I've never known anybody who has died because of entrepreneurship. Make sure you stay hungry. Make sure you stay discontent. Adopt the attitude of perpetual dissatisfaction so that you will, in turn, perpetually pursue progress and growth and expansion. And that is an abundance mindset. I want to know if you are the type of person that is always discontent. Are you always unsatisfied? If you are, make sure you throw a thumbs up on the video. Be sure you're a subscriber to the channel as well. I've got some incredible collaborations coming up, some big people, some huge resources, stuff that can literally change your entire financial future is on the way for this channel. So you're going to want to be sure you are a subscriber and that those post notification, the bell is selected there so that you receive updates when we drop new content. We will see you on the next video, my friend. And until then, make it a great day today and take care.
Alrighty, so I realize that some of you have not gotten one of the single most popular budgeting tools available, not to mention it's free, and that is called the Cashflow Cruncher. So what I want to do today is walk you through the process of downloading your very own copy. It comes in the form of an Excel spreadsheet, so it's very easy to use, and it's quick to navigate. So let's go ahead and walk through that process together. The first thing you'll do is in the search menu, you'll go to cashflowcruncher.com, which will take you to the download page. Simply type your email address into the field to claim your free copy and go ahead and select the red button. Immediately it'll pull up the download button, which will open a new Cashflow Cruncher spreadsheet. Now you can see I've already got a copy open and enlarged here for you to see. The first page it'll open is the Cashflow Summary Tab, which is a non-editable page. It's very important to understand that this opening tab will not require you to put any information into these fields. This actually imports the data from the other tabs below. Now, if you've ever used an Excel spreadsheet, you'll navigate the spreadsheet by going to individual pages down here. And it'll start with the revenue and assets page. On this page, you'll want to itemize each individual income that you bring into the household or the business. Now, it's always been my recommendation that you create an individual cash flow cruncher for your businesses, an individual cash flow cruncher for your real estate, and an individual cash flow cruncher for your household.